Hello and welcome to our webinar, Dell and AMD, Building the Data Center of Tomorrow, Today, sponsored by Dell Technologies. I'm your host, Katie Bavoso from the Channel Company. As we look toward a future of diversified work environments, it's no surprise reliance on the cloud has increased. Many businesses are shifting their budgets, and experts predict global spending on cloud services to grow more than 18% this year. Now is the time to invest in your cloud journey and ensure you have the right solutions to best optimize workloads and set a clear path for success. For this reason, Dell and AMD are here to help. I'm joined today by David Melendrez, Account Manager at AMD, and Alan Klingerman, Chief Technology Strategist of PowerEdge Workloads for North America Channels at Dell Technologies. Welcome, gentlemen. Let's get started on today's topic. Dell Technologies and AMD develop high-performance technologies for the data center of tomorrow. So, David, this first question is for you. AMD continues to gain share in the data center with its recent launch of the third-generation AMD EPYC Milan server processor in Q1 of this year. Can you share an update on EPYC Milan with us?
Absolutely. And Katie, hello. Glad to be here. You and Alan right now are my two favorite people, because I get to talk about my two favorite subjects, EPYC and PowerEdge. From the market share perspective, you bring up a good point. On one hand, when you look at what Mercury Research puts out, they peg us at about 11.5% of the overall x86 market. For me, I support our business at Dell. They're my one and only customer. So when I look at that as an OEM perspective, I see a much higher market share within them. And that's the good thing. When you look at Milan, when you look at EPYC, I always think of our CEO, Lisa Su. She is very fond of always saying in meetings and presentations that AMD is in the business of high performance computing. And Milan is basically in lockstep with that particular phrase. When you look at what we've done in terms of the tenets of performance, that is the key element of what Milan brings to the market. It's an amazing, amazing processor from the perspective of its design and the performance. Performance-wise, when you look at going from our second gen Rome to third gen Milan, we kind of peg world records in terms of multiple workloads. And that performance jumped from, or world records rather, jumped from 80 over 200. And I think that is really, really significant when you look at it, because Milan, the growth there, IPC, instructions per clock, 19%. That is phenomenal when you think in terms of what is offered out there in the market right now. And to me, I think when you combine us with Dell, that performance element continues to highlight from what customers get with us. So it is, it's a pleasure to be here. I enjoy kind of always talking about AMD, and I love being able to do this with Alan.
Well, lucky for you, he's here. And Alan, you've got the next question. Not only is AMD performing strongly in the data center these days, Dell recently refreshed its PowerEdge portfolio and continues to take share from the competition. To what do you attribute your success? And can you tell us a little bit about your 15th generation PowerEdge portfolio?
Oh, absolutely. I can't say enough about it. I'm super excited to be here with yourself and David and all the channel partners that are joining us out there. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy days and giving us a moment to give you some glimpse into what AMD and Dell Technologies are bringing to market. The first thing I want to say, and you kind of stated there early, Katie, is PowerEdge is on fire, right? You heard a little bit about the excitement of what's happening in the marketplace with David from AMD perspective, but the Q1 2021 IDC results were just released last week. According to IDC, Dell EMC has a worldwide x86 server market share now of 18.4%, making us number one in units, and 19% in revenue, making us number one in revenue. That's up 3.2 and 2.4% respectively. In the mainstream market, this is super exciting, right? This is where the bulk of the volume is coming today. We remained at 30.5% worldwide market share in North America, growing to 45.6%. So just amazing to see the results of what we've been able to bring to the market, thanks to a number of contributors, right? You kind of asked, hey, why are you succeeding in the marketplace? I look at it really as four key metrics to our success. Number one is our partner community. So all of our channel partners are doing fantastic work with us on PowerEdge. So for those of you that have joined us, thank you, right? It's really helped us really drive our platforms into the market. The second one is we have an unheralded mainstream portfolio in 14 and 15G with all the products that we have out to market together. Number three, back to my two favorite people here, our trusted OEM partnerships. So David, thank you, right? It's back to our merchant silicon vendor partnerships with people like AMD to really power our innovation engine. And our workload focus, really looking at applications that drive modernization for digital transformation with our customers. And that's really powered by a tool we have called Live Optics. So the last thing you kind of called out there, Katie, was about 15G. And what did we just introduce? On March 17th, right, this is our 15th generation of PowerEdge servers that we launched. We called it the 17 on the 17th. And what that refers to is 17 net new or refreshed server platforms that we introduced in a single day. And as you can imagine, a lot of them, powered by AMD. I think it's super exciting to see what we brought to market. Not only do we have this big, diverse portfolio, but it's powered by, the biggest players in the market. I mean, this is the first time, and I think David would echo this, and maybe you'll have a chance here in a minute, but I was super excited to see competition in the marketplace again. It's great for us. It's great for our customers. It's great for the industry as a whole. So really, I think about that innovation because that's what pushes everybody, right? It's what pushes innovation is competition in the marketplace, and AMT is pushing everybody everywhere, right? Really bringing great innovation to the marketplace. And when I think about that in 15G, there's three primary tenets of what we brought to market as part of this launch. The first one is when I talked about the innovation engine, it really is an innovation engine at Dell, not only for our customers and our partners to deliver applications and frameworks on top of, but also within Dell Technologies, because PowerEdge and servers make up the basis of everything we do in the data center, whether it's our hyper-converged platforms and VxRail and PowerFlex, whether it's our storage platforms and PowerMax and PowerScale and PowerStore. All of those at the end of the day are a PowerEdge server with a software stack on top of it. So we really are the innovation engine for everybody, including ourselves, right? We kind of have to eat our own dog food. And we look at it as three kind of key tenets around that platform. The first thing is about adaptive compute. And that's really taking the best of breed. So taking those engine, right, that all the technologies that AMD brings to market and integrate them into a tested, validated, supported design in PowerEdge and making sure that we take all of that great performance that they're bringing to market and optimize it for applications and workloads for our customers, right? To provide a great, performance enhancement right out of the box. The second thing is autonomous compute infrastructure, because people's environments aren't getting smaller, they're getting larger, which means they're buying more and more servers. The server market's growing. It's projected by Gartner to be over a $100 billion market within a few years. So when you think about that growth, man, I have more and more servers to deal with and manage, right? Customers have to figure out, how do I deal with that sprawl? So it's something that we have called the autonomous compute infrastructure. Think about this just like self-driving cars. Wouldn't it be great if I had thousands of servers out there that just drove themselves? I don't need an infrastructure team out there, feeding and caring for these devices. They take care of that themselves, powered by artificial intelligence, allowing them to think about, how do I transform the business, right? And really bring in innovation, and how do I, outflank the competition to increase revenue or profit for the company. And finally, we think about this in proactive resilience. It's all about security. So we'll probably have a little conversation around security here later, but security is at the core of everything we do, and super excited to bring all of this to market, in combination with AMD.
Wow, thank you so much for going over that. And David, we're going to go back to you. And as we just reviewed with Alan, Dell has fully launched its 15th generation of PowerEdge servers. How is AMD EPYC positioned within 15G portfolio?
I love that Dell calls PowerEdge now the innovation engine. Alan brought up the fact that there is competition now. I talk about competition, I talk about choice, and I talk about innovation as it relates to AMD and how we have basically redesigned what a processor is and does in terms of going to our chiplet design, in terms of having a significant amount of memory capacity, memory channels, IO, bandwidth, you name it. So to have both our innovation message and their innovation message come together, I think is critical. In regards to 15G, I'm fond of saying AMD was 15G before 15G was cool. But what I love about it is we launched our second gen Rome processors back in September of 19. Those platforms exist today, and Milan drops into the same socket that Rome systems had. So there is this now 15th generation available EPYC servers, PowerEdge, that are able on both Rome and on Milan. And I think that's critical because that speaks to, from a platform perspective, consistency. And if there's been anything about this last year, it's been the most inconsistent year. So when you can share with customers a consistent platform for purchasing, for maintenance, for security, for support, they love it. And what is awesome about what AMD has, you talked about market share earlier, and I kind of threw some numbers out there. Our share within the market, especially at the Dell level, is really half a dozen systems. And to be where we are right now with that few, now granted, we've got other partners, but Dell is our biggest. I'll flat out say that. But what we have with Dell, and I think is critical, is a mix. So there is 1U, 2U, 4U, single socket, dual socket. So there's a flavor in this 15G family to satisfy any need, any want, any workload. At the minimum, I would say, the single socket boxes, R6515 and R7515, a 1U and a 2U. The beauty here is, and we will sing this to the highest mountain to the day I die, dual socket performance in a single socket box. And that is critical because you've got a lot of dual socket, very small core count that now can be replaced with a single socket up to 64 cores. So getting that performance in a single socket box, where before it took a dual socket and multiple dual socket servers, is what Dell and AMD combined from an innovation perspective to bring to market. If you need more power, more compute, more IO, more slots, more. And I used to tell people Rome spelled another way is more. And that's what you got with Rome processors. And you also get it with Milan. But the idea is I need more GPU, I need more drive capacity, I need more compute. The R6525 and the R7525 offer that. Now, we have been playing real big in a very big sandbox called HPC. And we've done that with Dell on the C6525. And when I first heard about this system back in 2019, it was a multi-node. Now I had to look up multi-node, Google multi-node. It's pretty interesting. But the idea here is you could put 512 cores in a single 2U box. That's phenomenal compute power. And HPC users just are hungry for compute. And that I think is also critical because Dell and all of these have designed these from the ground up. And that is a testament to their design chops. Now, new to the family this year with Milan is a product called XE8545. If you've got anything in AI, machine learning, deep learning, HPC, this is the primary box to consider. It's a dual socket Milan. So think in terms of latest and greatest in terms of processing. I didn't even touch on some of the features, but we now have a new design in terms of our cache that basically allows up to 32 meg L3 on each of our dies, up to 8 dies on a chip. So that's 256 megs of L3 cache. You look at the GPU side of it, hey, Dell's not, they will partner, and we love to partner. And they've partnered with NVIDIA on this using the A100 quad GPU setup. So, to call it a game changer is basically the thing to do. And that's game changer in all capitals, by the way, because this is really the AI box to go with, the HPC box to go with, the deep learning machine learning box to go with. So 15G is awesome. I would put an exclamation point like 3 times after it to say that. But I'm happy. And Milan, it is here to stay. Milan and Rome will coexist through the life of 15G. So that consistency message continues. So can't say enough goodness about it.
Alan, we're going to go back to you for this next question. Security. It's been one of the biggest, possibly the biggest concern over the past year and going into the next one for sure. Thinking back to your comments earlier, what are the specifics around the security benefits AMD EPYC and PowerEdge bring to the customers?
Wow, there's a huge amount of innovation that's happening at the security level and has been for many years within PowerEdge. And certainly we want to exploit all the great technologies that our merchant silicone vendors bring to the market, right? AMD with InfiniGuard has some incredible things to really help secure the customer's environment. And we'll walk through that. But before I get deeper in security, I do want to call something out since David said this. One thing I didn't mention earlier, super exciting, when you think about our portfolio and the growth that I shared with you of the recent IDC results, he stopped short of saying what our share was, but hey, we're doing, greater than 11%, he kind of hinted to. When I think about our AMD offerings and PowerEdge as a portfolio, it's the fastest growing part of our portfolio in PowerEdge. So you can make your own assertions as to what that might mean, but it's the fastest growth. And that's why we're super excited to bring these products to market. And I would highlight for our channel partners out there, that last one that David alluded to, the X8545 is really differentiated in the marketplace right now. Those of you that can't sell, or you probably have heard about the NVIDIA DGX platform for artificial intelligence. And many of you, right, because there's high, tight requirements for that platform, can't sell that, or a customer's looking for a smaller, a platform to move into the AI deep learning realm. This is the way to get started. It's based on the same exact technology. It's based on what NVIDIA calls the HGX system board. So we took their system board. It's almost like a layer cake in the server, the motherboard, and then this HGX system board that sits on top with their latest Ampere technology, the A100s, 4 of them in a full NVLink configuration to really optimize for high performance artificial intelligence environment. So really, really excited about that platform. We've had lots of great sales since it really kind of opened up to the market about 45 days ago. So that one, if you don't sell DGX and you don't have that opportunity, Dell and AMD have your back with the X8545. Back to the security, because this is a pain, and I think we've all seen some of the things that's occurred in the marketplace, right? We've all left. I live in the Southeast in the United States, and you probably saw what happened with just the Colonial Pipeline, right? What a pain. Gas lines backing up. Oh, and hey, there's lots of different attack vectors. We think about the Colonial Pipeline, and most recently, right, not that far after that was JBS with the world's largest meat processing company, one of our accounts. So you start thinking about all of these things combined. Then you think about solar winds and look at the sunburst attack that affected a huge part of our supply chain. That was where they injected code in the development process, right? And in the update streams. Like it's really hard to get your hands around. And then we start combining that with things like the Twitter social engineering attack that happened before that. All of these things combined have really risen security to the number one priority for almost every customer. In fact, in the most recent Gartner CIO survey, from a leading server decision criteria perspective, security moved up to number 1. It was like number 5 if I looked at this even 6 or 7 months ago. It moved to the number 1 above cost and TCO, which from a server, because of scale, right, that was always been the number 1. That moved down to a number 2 position. So you can see the priority from customers that they're taking this serious. And I'm glad they are, because we've been baking these technologies in something we called the cyber resilient architecture really over the last 10 years. We are now in what we're referring to as the cyber resilient architecture 2.0, taking all those technologies from InfiniGuard, right, an AMD perspective, and baking them in. So think about some of the terms you may have heard about, such as secure encrypted virtualization of encrypting VMs. And by the way, with vSphere Update 1, hey, we can do that in VMware. I know a lot of customers were waiting for that to come live. We're there. Let's go take that and take advantage of the technology. Secure memory encryption, right? To actually encrypt the memory on the fly. And then some new things that they've done with the recent Milan announcement, like secure nested paging, to ensure that, I can look at what you think about lower level exploits, things moving to the hypervisor, even closer to my platform, to my hardware platform. What am I doing to secure that, right? So they have technology wrapped all the way around, no matter what the customer is trying to accomplish. And what I kind of think about security is a layer cake. I have to have it baked into the hardware. I have to have it baked into the hypervisor to support virtualization. I have to have it baked into the operating systems and then baked into my applications, and certainly into the networking connections that are going out to the public internet. So a lot of people have focused on applications and network connections. Now people have realized, oh, wow, I need to go deeper. This is a bigger concern. I need to go further down into the layer cake and ensure I've got a good, solid foundation.
Thank you so much, Alan. David, we're going to go on to question 5 with you. As we look ahead to next year, very simply, what's next for AMD?
When you think about where we are, so our journey back into the data center, we're at the third part of our announced roadmap that we presented back in 2017. We haven't varied from that at all. We announced when we were going to hit, we introduced, we partnered with our OEM, Dell, introduced great new products, and that will continue. So you look at in 2020, our next gen will be Genoa. We've got a thing for Italian cities, so we can't stop. And it is slated to be I hate to call it a game changer for this too, but it will be. Alan talked about competition. We're not letting up. We have a partnership with Taiwan Semi for our foundry services, and they have got awesome processes. We link our engineering with their engineering and continue to produce great products. About all I can say right now in terms of Genoa, it's a 5 nanometer CPU. But think about what Rome brought in terms of Rome bringing more. You'll continue to see that endeavor from us in terms of enhancing what computing is going to be all about. We will continue to push the threshold in design. We will continue to offer a choice in the data center that is highly competitive, that brings performance, brings value, and to most, what Alan was just talking about, security. The best is yet to come.
Definitely sounds like it. You took the words right out of my mouth there, for sure, David. Thank you so much. And Alan, we're going to have you cap off this webinar with this final question. We covered a lot of ground here in a short amount of time regarding PowerEdge and how Dell is enabling technologies for customer benefit. Can you leave us with some thoughts around the customer workloads that are driving this high demand for compute, and what's next for PowerEdge?
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the application space, and it's really all about data, right? Because data is at the core of everything we do in this world at this point, whether it's personal or professional. We just think about all the data that's coupled into all the social media and applications that we use from a day-to-day perspective. By the way, which businesses are built on. Oh, and by the way, which are leveraged by companies, right, to do what? Target ads and other things towards you. So if data is at the core of everything we do, we start thinking about what does that mean from a scale perspective? And this goes back to high performance compute, why this market continues to grow, and certainly why the channel community is excited about it, and why there's requirements for more and more cores and more performance is because I need to mine that data. The way I think about it is servers are almost like heavy equipment. Think about a mining for gold. I'm going to go buy a big piece of equipment from Caterpillar, go out to an area and mine for gold. That's what I'm trying to do across all that data. And when I think about the data size and growth, for those of you that might know the term, think about it in the terms of zettabytes now. So like if you heard from John Rose, who's our CTO, I'd encourage you, for those of you that might not have attended Dell Technologies or some of the sessions we ran, John did a great session about the future of this, right? And the future of data around the Zettascale data center. And how do we help customers accomplish this? And obviously it requires heavy compute and artificial intelligence and data analytics to make it real, right? It's about providing insights to allow the business to make better decisions to increase lines of revenue or profit and be more competitive in the marketplace, right? And provide ultimately what I think even as consumers, what do we all want? We're about experiences now. It's not even necessarily about a product. I buy a product sometimes because of the experience that product provides me. So how are we helping enable these digital experiences to make their products better, right? Their product or service to go to market. I'd leave it with this. We really are trying to take advantage of all of those software frameworks that enable these things to happen with our partners, right? And deliver IT with the agility of cloud. This calls us back to exactly where you started, Katie. How do I enable a hybrid cloud environment, leveraging all this technology? Because we know that's what it's going to be. Some will be on-prem, some will be in the public cloud. How do I harmonize and automate the processes, right, that customers have to do to manage those environments moving forward? So that's the first thing we're going to do. And certainly we're doing that in conjunction with the VMware, one of our sister companies. And then we think about how do I do that not just at the core, but how do I do that at the edge, right? So it's not just think about a retail company or a manufacturing company. It's not just about the data center that lives in their core business, but it's also about the data that lives in their manufacturing plants, that live in their retail stores. And the last thing I'd say is to our partner community, like just think there's a huge amount of partner resources available to you on the partner portal, right? We do have, for everything that David and I just walked you through, a full 15G virtual on-demand site. So please go out there. I have training videos, both videos for sales and your technical teams to learn more about the technologies you spent a little time with us reviewing today.
Alan, thank you so much. And David, thank you as well for being here. That brings us to the end of our webinar. Thank you at home for watching and taking the time to join our webinar, Dell and AMD, Building the Data Center of Tomorrow, Today. Once again, I'm Katie Bavoso. Thanks for watching.